Welcome back to Real Estate Real Talk. I'm Yogi Dougher, and we are sitting here with Miss Mary Wester, who is the president of the Real Estate Investors of Nashville. If you have a question, please give us a ring at 737-7587. We were still talking about the group in general. Where do you meet? How often do you meet? What does a typical agenda look like?
We have a monthly main meeting, and that is at Senior Citizens Center. It is a that sounds like, well, we're just meeting at the Senior Citizens Center, but 50 Forward is an active group here in Tennessee, and very active, and we use their meeting space, and we have 250 people at that center for a monthly main meeting. It's Monday nights, the second Monday of the month, and it is from 5:30 until about 9 o'clock at night.
Second Monday of the month. And
right.
And 50 Forward it's over by the racetrack, isn't it?
Yeah, the fairgrounds, that area, just right there as you go under the arch.
Yeah. Okay, and typically a couple hundred people show up to this?
A couple hundred people have been showing up, and have very great topics each time, and an education program, a couple of mini classes, networking. It's a great time in which to meet other people and network among each other, and lots of times people bring deals. They actually buy and deals, and they get their deals traded, or they come and talk to our corporate sponsors and to find financing or to find services or supplies that those vendors might be providing.
Now, and I think you serve dinner as well, if you let them know in advance.
If we let us know in advance, it's a way to get some dinner if you've come right from work and don't have time to grab something to eat, and then go into a class or a mini class, what we call our breakout sessions, or just spend the time and network between people.
Now, I get asked this a lot. Is this for experienced, seasoned investors, or is this a place for, I guess you could call it rookies, or all points in between?
It's really both. What happens is the new people come and our guests come and find out what we have to offer, and we program classes for that. We can talk a little more about that. But then our experienced people are there, and they like to meet the new people. They also like to talk to the experienced people, and we find that our experienced people will teach our classes for us.
Yep.
And our experienced people like to go to those classes to learn tips and tricks from those other experienced people.
Yeah, there's also good networking between the more seasoned people. They run at a different altitude, I guess.
They do.
And as president, what's your job there?
I really see my role as to assess where we are today and to bring business practices in, since I have had my own entrepreneurial business for 17 years, taking it from invention all the way to international. So I try to run it, put marketing principles into effect and best business practices into effect. And I also try to work, we run with a volunteer board. It's a volunteer nonprofit organization.
Right.
I'm not being paid on this, and I work probably 20 hours a week doing this. But they try to make opportunities for networking through our lunches and through the main meetings and through all the classes. Every time you can, it's a chance to network, and networking means dollars.
Yes, it does. I mean, I think that's one of the key parts. I would say that education and the networking are really what this group is all about. If you have questions for Mary or about the Real Estate Investors of Nashville, give us a ring at 737-7587. I will get that memorized here soon. We talked about education. That really is one of the key components of this whole thing. So let's go through what a typical month looks like, some of the programs that you might have, and let people get a feel for the flavor of the...
Okay, that would be great. We have our offices at the Wren Education Center, which is where our office and our classroom is at, and that is over in the Bell Mead in the Truxton Trust Building, and it is across from Kroger. And that's apart from our main monthly meetings. So if you're looking for things, most often it's either going to be there or it's going to be in some rural area. But for the calendar, for example, tonight we have or actually today, 11:30, I leave here and I go to our Williamson County lunch. Right. And that is at Bosco's in the Cool Springs area. We get seasoned investors generally who come there, or we'll get some new people who have a deal that want to be able to sell it, and they want people to know about it. So they'll come there and offer the deal. So it's kind of like a deal, no deal, and somebody sharing information and learning about more advanced topics. After that, In our calendar, we have on the 21st a landlording subgroup. We have someone who's done inner city rentals that leads this group, and he gives tips and tricks of how to be a landlord and his techniques for doing that.
That could be rather important in this rental environment, especially now. Multiple people applying for space, how you screen them out, how you be sure you get the best people and so on.
Right.
This is what they handle? They
handle those types of things, and a lot of people become accidental landlords when a relative dies and they just happen to move somewhere else and they can't sell their home. That was happening a lot here several years ago, but we might have somebody here that is in Tennessee that inherits something from another city. They need to know what the laws are, and this helps them understand what resources they need to have.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. What else we got coming up?
Coming up, we have a Rutherford County subgroup. It's a special interest group for those people in Murfreesboro, so they don't always have to come to Nashville, and that's on August 4th. And by the way, to check our calendar, go to REINT as in Tom, N as in Nancy.org. REINTN.org/calendar, and you can pull up our calendar and see everything on there, and then click on the item that you're interested in and it'll come up with a full description, time, and you can even reserve a spot on that calendar website. Something else that we're having coming up at the next REN meeting, we are having a husband and wife team that have 20 years of experience. They're a national speaker. They're going to come in and talk about collecting back rent. We have a theme going on here about landlording, but that's usually what people think they have to do to get into real estate, and that's one of the most common things that people start out with until they find out that they can do other things as well. Yeah. And we have a wholesaling subgroup on the 14th of August, and a lunch networking group, and it's at Dalt's. It's on the first and third Tuesdays of each month, and it's again at 11:30.
So there are subgroups in Williamson County, Rutherford County. We have a Nashville lunch group. Yes. Are there any other areas that do this?
We are looking to add areas that could do that. If somebody wanted to do one, say out in Mount Juliet, Wilson County, there's a core group of people. But most people are willing to travel wherever it takes in this area. They're used to traveling to Nashville downtown or to Williamson County. Yeah.
But keeping that network alive is certainly important. Are there any other events this month?
There is another one that's interesting. We have a Saturday class and we have Tuesday classes. Coming up for a Tuesday class is going to be our Appraisals Class. And this will be great for you to learn what it takes and to figure out how much your property is worth and what a real certified appraiser goes through in determining the worth of your house. And that is coming up and being taught by a certified appraiser, Andy Buford. And I was just going to look here and see the time on that class is July 22nd, and it starts at 6 o'clock and goes till 9 o'clock, a 3-hour class, and it's eligible for our professional housing provider or PHP credit.
What a great idea. I think the one common characteristic is someone feels like their house, maybe not the one next door, but their house is always worth more than everybody else does. And so I guess they're going to go through techniques on how to research and find out exactly what a similar house would run and has sold for already.
That's right. They'll go through those things. And you can always ask questions of the appraiser. They generally stay after a class, and you can ask specific individual questions after the class.
That's an excellent one. And then you've got a Saturday class. Is that for work in progress?
That would be for the national speakers. They will come back, and they're going to be back on the 23rd of August, and for that Saturday seminar. And it should be like a 7 or 8 hour seminar where people go through and learn techniques of how to collect rents or judgments. If you've got a judgment that is existing and you haven't been able to collect it, they tell you how to go back and get rents and how interest rates are. In Tennessee, we have an automatic 10% interest rate on judgments that you get from the court. So they talk about how to go back, and they've been very successful when other people haven't been successful in collecting those back judgments and those back rents.
There's a lot that there's a lot of information to get out of this. What does it cost to belong to the organization?
It's only $149 for an individual membership.
Every time I hear that, I have to smile. This is like college work, I guess. You know, you get almost a real degree out of this, a real degree out of this in the information that you get. And this, so many people have made this their profession after going through a year or two of this and just decided to hang up the real job and do this full time. And not bad for, you know, what at that point would be a $300 investment.
That's exactly right, because if you're a member, our classes are as cheap as $20 if you register a week in advance, and that is so cheap. If you look at the nearest bachelor's degree program, and it would be, I've calculated $160,000 to go out of state to get a bachelor's degree in real estate. This is a deal. It is a deal.
I think some of the things that I've noticed that you will go through in some of your coursework, and we can come back to some of these: foreclosures, flips, rental property, of course, that's sort of the mainstay of everything, and then how to buy a commercial property and the fundamentals of financing. Speaking of financing, we're going to go over that when we come back. We're going to go over how people get their money, some of the various forms of it, and what the most common approaches are, and then some of the ones that you don't hear about so often. So we will be back right after this.